Most people believe being a good person means always helping. They listen, they sacrifice, they step in when others are struggling, and slowly, quietly, they begin to suffer. Not because they are weak, but because they are unselective. Stoic philosophy makes a hard distinction modern culture often avoids. Kindness without wisdom becomes self-destruction. Not everyone who asks for help wants to change. Not everyone who is suffering wants responsibility. And not everyone you try to save will thank you for it. Some will drain you, some will blame you, some will pull you down with them and call it loyalty. The Stoics understood this clearly. They did not teach indifference, they taught discernment. Because helping the wrong person doesn't just fail to save them, it destroys you. Your energy fades, your clarity weakens. Your sense of duty turns into guilt, and guilt is one of the most powerful tools of manipulation. In this video, we'll talk about 7 types of dangerous people. Not because they are evil, but because trying to help them without boundaries will slowly dismantle your life. You'll learn how Stoic philosophy views responsibility, character, and limits. You'll learn when helping is virtuous, and when walking away is the wisest choice. This is not about becoming cold, it's about becoming clear. Because the Stoic does not prove goodness by self-sacrifice without reason. He proves it by protecting his inner order and offering help only where it can truly take root. Stay with me. What you don't help can be just as important as what you do. 1. The victim who refuses responsibility. This is the most common and the most dangerous type of all. Not because they are cruel, not because they intend harm, but because they never take responsibility. Everything that goes wrong in their life is someone else's fault. The system failed them, their family ruined them, their partner betrayed them, their past destroyed their chances. There is always a reason, always a story, always a justification, and on the surface, it feels compassionate to help. You listen, you empathize, you offer solutions, but nothing changes. Stoic philosophy draws a clear line here. No one improves without responsibility. A person who sees themselves only as a victim has already surrendered control over their life. And when you try to help them, something subtle happens. You become the new character in their story. At first, you're the rescuer. Then, you're the supporter. And eventually, you're the one they blame when things don't improve. Because in their worldview, someone must always be responsible, and it will never be them. This is why helping this type is dangerous. Your help does not empower them. It replaces their need to change. Every time you step in, you confirm their belief. I am powerless. Someone else must fix this. Stoicism rejects this entirely. The Stoics believe that while we cannot control everything, we are always responsible for how we respond. When responsibility is missing, help becomes enabling. And enabling slowly destroys both people involved. You give energy, they give excuses. You offer clarity, they offer stories. You feel drained, they feel validated, but unchanged. Here's how you recognize this type clearly. They repeat the same problems with different villains, different jobs, different relationships, different circumstances. But the pattern never shifts. There is no learning curve, no ownership, no action, just narration. Stoic wisdom teaches a hard truth. Compassion without accountability is cruelty, to yourself and to them, because you are feeding an identity that keeps them stuck, and you are sacrificing your inner order for the illusion of being helpful. The Stoic response is not anger, not judgment. It is withdrawal of rescue. You stop fixing, you stop solving, you stop carrying what is not yours. You can listen once, you can empathize briefly, but you do not step into responsibility that does not belong to you. And here is the key Stoic boundary. You only help those who are willing to help themselves. If someone refuses responsibility, the kindest thing you can do is step back. Because responsibility cannot be given, it must be claimed. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not to waste effort on what produces no improvement, not out of coldness, but out of respect for life's limits. When you stop trying to save the perpetual victim, something important happens. You reclaim your energy, your clarity returns, your compassion becomes wiser. And if they ever choose responsibility, you can help them then. But until that moment, you walk away calmly. Say this to yourself. I can support effort. I cannot replace responsibility. That single principle will protect you from years of quiet destruction disguised as kindness. 2. The chronically negative person. This type is dangerous not because they are dramatic, but because they are consistently pessimistic. Everything has a downside. Every idea has a flaw. Every solution won't work. At first, you think they're just realistic. Careful, grounded, so you try to help. You offer perspective. You suggest alternatives. You share optimism. And slowly, something happens. Your energy drops. Not all at once, but day by day. Stoic philosophy understood this long before modern psychology. Emotions are contagious, and pessimism spreads quietly. The chronically negative person does not seek solutions. They seek confirmation. Confirmation that the world is against them. That effort is pointless. That hope is naive. And when you try to help them, they don't feel supported. They feel challenged, because positivity threatens their worldview. This is what makes them dangerous. They don't reject your help aggressively. They dissolve it. Every suggestion is met with, "That won't work. I've already tried that. You don't understand." Over time, you stop offering solutions. You start absorbing their tone. Your thinking becomes heavier. Your outlook narrows. Your motivation weakens. Stoicism is ruthless about protecting the mind. The Stoics believe the mind must be guarded the way a city guards its gates. Because once negativity enters unchallenged, it reorganizes everything inside. The chronically negative person does not want to climb out. They want company in the pit. And when you stay too long, you become that company. This is why trying to help them is dangerous. You think you're lifting them up, but they are pulling you down. Not intentionally, not maliciously, but inevitably. Here's how you recognize this type clearly. They dismiss solutions before trying them. They talk more about problems than actions. They drain conversations of momentum. Nothing improves, but complaints continue. Stoic wisdom draws a hard line here. You are responsible for the quality of your thoughts, and that includes the thoughts you allow around you. Helping someone like this does not inspire change. It normalizes stagnation. The Stoic response is not confrontation. It is limitation. You reduce exposure. You stop engaging in endless venting. You refuse to be a dumping ground for despair. You don't argue optimism. You don't force perspective. You simply stop feeding the cycle. And if they ask why you've pulled back, you don't accuse. You state calmly, "I'm focused on solutions right now." Then you disengage. Stoicism teaches that you cannot heal a mind that has made pessimism its identity, but you can protect your own. And that protection is not selfish, it is necessary. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that dwelling on negativity weakens reason. And reason is the foundation of virtue. When you step away from the chronically negative, something returns to you. Clarity, lightness, forward motion, and that is not cruelty, that is wisdom. Say this to yourself. I protect my mind as carefully as my body, because no one benefits when two people are dragged down instead of one choosing to rise. 3. The addicted to chaos, drama, or substances. When people hear the word addicted, They often think only of substances, alcohol, drugs, gambling. But Stoic philosophy understood something deeper. Addiction is not limited to substances. People can be addicted to chaos. Chaos gives them identity. Drama gives them stimulation. Crisis gives them meaning, and that makes them extremely dangerous to help. Because no matter how much you give, they return to the same fire. You help them clean up. They burn things down again. You help them stabilize. They sabotage stability. You think they want peace, but peace feels empty to them. Chaos is familiar. This is why trying to help this type often destroys you. You become the caretaker of consequences. You fix what they break. You absorb what they avoid. You stand between them and reality never reaches them, because you intercept it. Stoic philosophy draws a hard boundary here. You cannot rescue someone who is still attached to their own destruction. Addiction, whether to substances or drama, is not a lack of intelligence. It's a lack of willingness to change structure. They may cry, they may promise, they may seem sincere, but sincerity without action is only emotion, and emotion fades. Structure does not. This type often makes you feel guilty. They say, "You're the only one who understands me. I can't do this without you. If you leave, I'll fall apart." That guilt is a trap. Not intentional, but devastating, because it slowly ties your sense of goodness to their survival. And Stoicism is very clear. You are not responsible for saving someone from choices they keep choosing. Helping this type feels heroic at first, then exhausting, then resentful, then empty. Your life starts revolving around their crises. You're always reacting, always stabilizing, always waiting for the next collapse. And slowly, your own life begins to erode. The Stoics warned against this. They believed that virtue requires clarity, and clarity cannot survive in constant chaos. Here's how you recognize this type clearly. They resist long-term structure. They avoid routines. They reject boundaries. They say they want change, but they won't accept the discipline that change requires. And when things go wrong, they look for rescue, not responsibility. The Stoic response is not abandonment. It is non-interference. You do not enable. You do not cushion consequences. You do not manage their disorder. You step back, not with anger, not with contempt, but with resolve. Because sometimes the only teacher left is consequence, and if you block that teacher, you delay growth or prevent it entirely. This is one of the hardest Stoic lessons. Helping too early can be more harmful than not helping at all. You can offer guidance once. You can point toward structure once. But if they refuse it, you withdraw. You protect your inner order. Marcus Aurelius wrote about not allowing another person's disorder to disturb your own mind. Not because they don't matter, but because you do. Say this to yourself: I can care without carrying chaos. Because when you sacrifice your stability for someone addicted to destruction, you don't save them, you join them. 4. The manipulator disguised as the helpless. This is one of the most deceptive types, because on the surface, they look weak, confused, overwhelmed, in need. They don't demand help aggressively. They invite it emotionally. They tell you how lost they are, how unfair life has been, how no one else understands them, and slowly they place a burden on you without ever asking directly. Stoic philosophy issues a clear warning here. Not all helplessness is innocent. Some is strategic. This type uses vulnerability as leverage. They don't say, "You owe me." They make you feel like you owe them. If you don't help, you feel cruel. If you step back, you feel guilty. If you set boundaries, you feel heartless. That guilt is the hook. And once you're hooked, they begin to control the terms. They decide when you're needed. They decide how much is enough. They decide when you've failed them. Helping them doesn't bring relief. It brings entanglement. Stoicism sees through this immediately. True need seeks solutions. Manipulative need seeks dependence. This type does not want to become strong. They want you to stay involved. Because involvement equals control. They may praise you at first. You're the only one who's there for me. I don't know what I'd do without you. That praise feels good, but it comes with a cost. Over time, your time disappears. Your energy drains. Your decisions begin to revolve around their emotional state. And if you ever pull back, the tone changes. They accuse you of abandoning them. They question your character. They frame your boundary as betrayal. This is where the danger becomes clear. Your goodness is being used against you. Stoic philosophy does not reject compassion. It rejects self-sacrifice without wisdom. Here's how you recognize this type clearly. They resist independence. They avoid learning skills that would free them. They escalate crises when attention fades. Every step toward their autonomy is met with emotional resistance, because autonomy would end the leverage. The Stoic response is firm but calm. You do not argue motives. You do not accuse manipulation. You reduce availability. You stop rescuing. You stop prioritizing their emergencies. You redirect responsibility back to them, and you tolerate the discomfort that follows. Because manipulators thrive on emotional reactions. When you stay neutral, the dynamic loses power. Stoicism teaches that guilt is not a moral compass. Virtue is, and virtue does not require you to be consumed by another person's helplessness. Here is the Stoic boundary that matters most. If helping someone requires you to betray your peace, your duties, or your principles, it is no longer help. It is submission. You can still wish them well. You can still speak kindly, but you do not stay entangled. Marcus Aurelius warned against being pulled into emotional theater that distracts from reason. This is exactly that. When you step away from this type, you may feel relief and guilt. That guilt will fade. The relief will not, because you have reclaimed your agency. Say this to yourself. Compassion does not require captivity. Helping the helpless is virtuous only when it leads toward strength. When it leads toward dependence, the Stoic walks away. 5. The Ungrateful Receiver. This type often looks harmless at first. They accept your help. They take your time. They benefit from your effort. And yet, something always feels off. There is no gratitude, no growth, no point where help ever feels enough. Stoic philosophy treats gratitude not as politeness, but as character, because gratitude signals awareness, and awareness is the beginning of responsibility. The ungrateful receiver lacks both. They don't see your help as a gift. They see it as an expectation, something you should do, something they deserve. At first, they may say thank you, but their behavior tells a different story. They ask again, quickly. They escalate requests. They assume availability. And when you hesitate, they react with irritation or entitlement. This is where the danger begins. Helping someone who lacks gratitude does not strengthen them. It conditions dependence. Each act of help teaches them, I don't need to stand on my own. Someone else will step in. Stoicism rejects this dynamic completely. The Stoics believed help should cultivate virtue, not replace it. When help creates reliance instead of growth, it becomes harmful. Not only to them, but to you. Here's how you recognize this type clearly. They rarely acknowledge effort. They focus on what's missing, not what's given. They feel offended when help slows or stops. Their language reveals entitlement. You always help me with this. I thought you'd handle it. You could at least do this. Notice what's absent. Choice. They don't ask. They assume, and assumption is a form of disrespect. Stoic philosophy draws a firm boundary here. Where gratitude ends, help must end. Not as punishment, but as correction, because gratitude is what keeps help voluntary. Without it, help turns into obligation, and obligation breeds resentment. The Stoic response is not confrontation, it is withdrawal of excess. You reduce how much you give, you slow responses, you stop stepping in automatically, and you observe. If gratitude appears, genuine behavioral gratitude, help can resume. If entitlement grows, you step back further. Stoicism teaches that people reveal themselves through how they receive. Someone who is grateful uses help as a bridge toward independence. Someone who is ungrateful uses it as a crutch. You're not obligated to be someone's permanent support. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not to waste effort where virtue does not grow. Not because people don't matter, but because time does. Helping the ungrateful slowly drains your spirit. You feel used, you feel invisible, you feel taken for granted. Those feelings are not weakness, they are signals. Signals telling you a boundary is overdue. Say this to yourself. I give where appreciation and growth exist. I withdraw where entitlement replaces gratitude. That principle protects your energy and preserves the meaning of help. Because when gratitude is absent, help stops being virtuous. It becomes exploitation disguised as need. 6. The one who rejects every solution. This type often disguises itself as open-minded. They ask for advice. They invite your thoughts. They say they want help. But no matter what you offer, there is always a response. Yes, but that won't work. Yes, but you don't understand my situation. Yes, but it's different from me. Stoic philosophy recognized this pattern clearly. Some people don't want solutions. They want permission to stay the same. This is what makes them dangerous to help. Because they don't drain you through need. They drain you through futility. Every conversation becomes a loop. You offer clarity. They offer resistance. You suggest action. They suggest reasons not to act. And slowly, something happens inside you. You feel frustrated. You feel unheard. You feel responsible for fixing something that refuses to move. Stoicism warns against this trap. The Stoics believed wisdom is wasted on ears that do not intend to act. Advice is meant to lead to action. When action is rejected, advice becomes theater. And theater consumes energy without producing change. This type uses conversation as a substitute for courage. Talking feels productive, but nothing actually shifts. They mistake discussion for effort, and when you keep engaging, you become part of that illusion. Here's how you recognize this type clearly. They ask for help repeatedly, but never apply what was suggested. They reject solutions faster than they consider them. They focus more on explaining why change is impossible than on trying. And when things stay the same, they return, again, for more advice. Stoic philosophy draws a firm line here. You are not obligated to keep advising someone who refuses to act, because at that point, help becomes distraction. It keeps them comfortable in inaction, and it keeps you invested in a result that will never arrive. The Stoic response is not debate. It is closure. You stop offering solutions. You stop brainstorming. You stop engaging the loop. If they ask for advice again, you redirect responsibility. What do you think you'll try? And then you wait. Silence is revealing. If they don't act, you don't fill the gap. Stoicism teaches that clarity without action is not wisdom, it is avoidance, and helping someone avoid growth is not kindness. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that time spent on what does not improve is time stolen from what does. When you step back from this type, you may feel relief and irritation. Relief because the loop has ended. Irritation because you see how much energy was wasted. That irritation is instructive. It teaches discernment. Say this to yourself. I offer guidance once. Action decides what comes next. Because people who truly want help use advice as a bridge. People who reject every solution use it as a cushion. And the Stoic refuses to be a cushion for another person's fear of change. 7. The person who punishes you for helping. This is the most dangerous type of all, not because they ask for help, but because they punish you for giving it. At first, everything looks normal. They need support. You step in, you offer time, effort, guidance. And for a moment, things improve. Then something goes wrong. Not necessarily because of you, but because life is unpredictable. And suddenly, the tone changes. They blame you. They imply you didn't do enough. They suggest you misled them. They hint that if you had helped better, things would have turned out differently. Stoic philosophy is brutally clear here. Never tie your worth to another person's outcome. This type does exactly that. They outsource responsibility and then assign guilt. Helping them puts you in an impossible position. If things go well, it was their strength. If things go wrong, it was your failure. This dynamic is not accidental. It protects their ego. By making you responsible, they avoid confronting their own choices, and the cost of that avoidance is you. This type is especially destructive because they weaponize morality. They say things like, "You said you'd help. I trusted you. You let me down." And suddenly, your kindness is reframed as obligation. Your effort is reframed as debt. Your boundaries are reframed as betrayal. Stoic philosophy sees this as a red line. When help is met with blame, help must stop immediately. Not slowly, not gently, immediately. Because once punishment enters the equation, the relationship is no longer about help. It is about control. Here's how you recognize this type clearly. They rewrite history. They exaggerate your role. They minimize their decisions. They speak as if outcomes were guaranteed, and you failed to deliver. But Stoicism reminds us, outcomes are never guaranteed. Only effort and intention are within our control, and even then, only our own. This type ignores that truth. They need someone to carry the weight of uncertainty, and if you accept that weight, it will crush you. The Stoic response is firm and final. You do not argue outcomes. You do not defend intentions. You do not negotiate guilt. You disengage, calmly, clearly, without resentment. You state once that you are no longer involved, and you step away. This is not cruelty. It is self-preservation. Marcus Aurelius warned against allowing others to assign meaning to your actions based on their emotions, because doing so hands over your inner authority. Helping someone should never make you feel ashamed. If it does, something has gone deeply wrong. Stoicism teaches that virtue must be voluntary. The moment it is punished, it ceases to be virtue and becomes exploitation. Say this to yourself: I offer help freely. I accept no blame for outcomes I do not control. This boundary is non-negotiable, because people who punish you for helping will destroy your confidence, your clarity, and your willingness to be good. And Stoicism does not ask you to sacrifice your soul to prove your kindness. It asks you to live wisely.
But how do we find tranquility
Being
amidst
stoic
such turmoil?
does not mean being
By
heartless.
accepting what is beyond
it
our
means
control
being selective
and
with your
focusing
heart.
solely on virtue.
You've now seen the 7 types of people who can quietly destroy you if you try to help without wisdom. Not because helping is wrong, but because helping without discernment is dangerous. Stoic philosophy never taught blind sacrifice, it taught responsibility. First to your character, then to others who are willing to grow. You're not obligated to save everyone. You're not required to carry burdens that are not yours to bear. And you're not immoral for stepping away from situations that erode your inner order. The Stoics believed that virtue must strengthen life, not consume it. If helping someone costs you your peace, your clarity, your ability to live well, that help has crossed into self-betrayal. True kindness is not endless availability. It is wise generosity. You help where responsibility exists. You support where effort is present, and you withdraw where manipulation, negativity, or entitlement take root. That is not cruelty. That is maturity. Remember this Stoic truth. You cannot lift others by allowing yourself to be dragged down. The world does not need more exhausted saviors. It needs grounded individuals who know when to extend a hand and when to step back. If this message resonated with you, comment below. I choose wisdom over guilt. Say it calmly. Mean it fully. Then live in alignment with it. Subscribe for more Stoic philosophy that teaches clarity, boundaries, and quiet strength. Not noise, not pressure, not shame. And remember, you are allowed to be good without destroying yourself to prove it. That is Stoic wisdom.